Hi, Scott Orlin with CINEMA-Magazin. In this time of the pandemic, we all need a little escape. Well, there's a movie coming your way that's going to be the perfect solution for that. It is called Stage Mother, and I'm here with the star of the film, Jackie Weaver. Jackie, obviously, let's kind of dive right in. What is your relationship to drag bars? Have you ever been to one?
Uh, I've been going to drag bars since 1962 when I was 15 years old. There was a very glamorous drag bar called Les Girls, and my rock star boyfriend used to take me there, and I was fascinated. It was glamorous. It wasn't tacky. It was just wonderful. And then I became not exactly a part of that world, but I know many. I became sort of more than on the periphery of the gay world, and many were working in the theatre. You know, many of my friends are gay, and I still love going to drag. My husband and I sometimes go to Hamburg and Mary's in West Hollywood, where we live, and of course the famous, world famous Jackie Beat is in that. I adore her.
Well, I guess the highest compliment, have you ever seen yourself portrayed in drag? Have they ever done you?
That's interesting. No, I haven't. No.
One day someone's going to come along.
It'd have to be a very small drag queen. I'm under 5 feet tall. I'm 4'11" and 3/4, I hope. So it'd have to be a tiny man.
What I loved about this movie is about a parental expectation of their child and then the parental acceptance of their child. That it took this journey for this mother to kind of really fall back in love with her son.
I don't think she was ever out of love with her son, you see. I think she came from such a sheltered background, small town Texas, a choir mistress at a local church, and a very domineering husband. And the flashbacks to the little boy's childhood, you see how close they were, how much she loved him. And when he comes out as gay, her husband disowns him, and he is so domineering that she has to let go too. And I think her heart is broken for years and years and years. And of course is even broken even more badly with what ensues. And I think you're right, it's a journey for her. I don't think she ever stops loving her boy. But she gets the courage to defy the husband and go to to San Francisco. And it is a wonderful transformation she goes through. She becomes more tolerant, more empathetic. I mean, I think she was always a decent and good person. I just think her parameters were very narrow. And I think she makes all these new friends. Her life becomes richer. And the tragedy that she's been through becomes joyful. She becomes a joyful person. I mean, the heartbreak never goes away, but
She also becomes a good roommate. I mean, obviously, where she kind of like moves in. And I was just wondering, when you look back on your life before your husband, who was your roommate, did you have an interesting roommate? Was there somebody that was so out there that was really eclectic for you?
I had some great roommates back then, you know, in sort of the hippie days of the 70s in Sydney, Australia. Yeah, I had some, not exactly weirdos. Well, yeah, weirdos.
And what I love too about especially the atmosphere of these drag bars is not only the costumes, but the music. So I was wondering, because you hear a certain song and it really accesses a personality for some of these characters. So what would be the song that would access Jackie Weaver's personality?
I Will Survive. Once I was afraid, I was petrified. Yeah, that's probably me. It's a gay anthem, and it kind of applies to many of us, I think.
And not that, let's take a drag club out of the equation, but if you had to oversee the ownership of a particular entity, restaurant, bar, club, clothing store, what would be in your wheelhouse?
I'd be a terrible manager of anything. I'm not a follower, but I'm not a leader either. I'm an observer. I wouldn't be able to manage anything. But I do like a bit of glitz. I do like a bit of tinsel. Yeah, I'd hope there was tinsel.
And you mentioned earlier about San Francisco. I was wondering, do you remember the first time you were ever in San Francisco?
Yeah, I've only been once. It was when we were shooting the film 5 Year Engagement. It's a beautiful city, but as Mark Twain said, you know, it's the coldest winter I ever spent was summer in San Francisco. It's so cold. It's kind of almost spooky, that chill. But what a beautiful place. I thought it was lovely. And of course, we couldn't afford to film Stage Mother in San Francisco. So apart from some stock footage, it's all shot in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where it was actually snowing at the time. But Nova Scotia is a very pretty city. It's a very old city, so it has some very quaint houses, and it's quite hilly. So I think it passed for San Francisco.
It's always fascinating to me about the trajectory of an actor's career, because for me, I didn't know who Jackie Weaver was till I saw Animal Kingdom, and I must say you scared the hell out of me after I saw that movie. But you've been a working actor for many, many years prior to that. Is everything supposed to happen when it's supposed to happen?
I guess that's true. I did my first stage performance at the age of 15 playing Cinderella. And from then on, I got lots of television and film work in Australia. And I had a small walk-on in a film called They're a Weird Mob, directed by the late, great Michael Powell. And it speaks to what a kindly person he was, to send this 19-year-old little bit part a note saying, congratulations on your walk-in. I'm sure you're headed for great things. And I framed it because it was Michael Powell, and I've still got it. And I like to say to people that he never told me it would take 50 years.
Well, we're glad it's happening.
You know, my working life was very full and very satisfying. I've been in 73 plays, and I'd already done about 20 films when I came to America, and now I've done 25 films in America, about more than 50 hours of television in 10 years. So, and always playing Americans. And I still meet people who say, why are you talking like that? Who think that I'm American, which is the biggest compliment you can get.
And just a last question for you, Jackie. Obviously, it's called Stage Mother. So in your life, who was your stage mother?
My own parents were they weren't very hands-off. They didn't discourage me, but my mother was an accountant and my father was a lawyer, and my brother's a barrister, a lawyer. So there were older women always in shows I was in that would take me under their wing and look after me. Yeah, I was always very well looked after.
Well, thank you for looking after me in this interview, Jackie Weaver. The movie is called Stage Mother, and this is Scott Orlin. Until next time.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you very much.
Thanks.